Check these out. Retro tech. Let's go. Recently, we've been clearing out a parent's house, and I got a couple of boxes of stuff that's managed to somehow find its way back to me after 15 years or more. Now, I need to decide what happens with this stuff after I've had my rediscovery journey. Can I just move these things on? These things that I haven't used, needed, or thought about for many years? Or is that boost of nostalgia going to tempt me to keep hold of these things and fill up my shelves even more? Gremlins. Old classic, and obviously it's been upgraded to Blu-ray. But everyone's collection had to have movie based on a John Grisham novel, right? You have too. You go check. This one. What a great movie. I've got it on Blu-ray. It's a fantastic 80s movie on VHS. Still nicely kept in there. Be kind. Rewind. I've actually got 2 boxes full of stuff. The first, the biggest box, is full of my old VHS. They're the things I got rid of many years ago that found their way back to me. If you grew up in the late 70s, early 80s, I'm sure you had Bad Boys in the collection somewhere. It was a classic, right? Man, some of these take me back. Just the look and feel and weight of the boxes, all the inserts on there. Great presentation, but they're just so big, aren't they? When compared to a DVD size, just the space that they take up on the shelf, it was ridiculous. Personally, I haven't actually owned a VHS for many, many years. I cleared my entire collection as soon as DVD started to stomp its dominance on the market. There was a load that I sold to a local video store, and another bunch I sent off to relatives to hopefully keep them as amused as I used to be with them. I mean, there's a real nostalgia boost that I'm getting from looking through all of these, and perhaps there is a little bit of temptation that maybe I want to keep a couple. But why? Why would I want to keep these sort of things? Silence of the Lambs, it's great, but I've got the Criterion Blu-ray of it, and there's a 4K out there somewhere, so why would I need to keep a VHS copy? Me machine, I can just get straight in the bin. Silence of the Lambs. Not rewound. Unbelievable. What were you doing, Phil? What was you doing? Parents nonsense. Wife's nonsense. Parents nonsense. Parents nonsense. Dad's army. Why? As time's moved on from VHS, the technology's moved on leaps and bounds. It's to the point now that many of us wouldn't even consider playing a standard definition DVD. I'm sure that's got to be the wife's, or I just don't want to admit that I had or have Dirty Dancing in my collection. Who knows? Let me know in the comments if you think it's mine or the wife's. Ugh. Why is there a temptation to keep a couple of them? I've got nothing to play them on. Quality, it's going to be shocking. There's no point to keeping them, but the temptation's there. The nostalgia's hitting hard, and I'm enjoying looking through and remembering watching Demolition Man on VHS that I picked up for $1.99 from Blockbuster, I believe. Not rewound either. Oh my god, it's never ending. Indiana Jones, the trilogy, the only Indiana Jones films. Time Cop. It's one I don't think I ever upgraded onto DVD. Certainly don't have it on Blu-ray. It's a decent film, right? Bruce Almighty. M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. Cool Runnings. Executive Decision. Empty Case, Only Fools and Horses. That wouldn't have been mine. I'm not the biggest fan. The state of some of these is horrendous. They've been sat around the parents' house, obviously not taken care of, so a little bit grubby. What a double. The Craft and Urban Legend. One of my favourite shows, Due South. It's a cracking show. If you haven't seen it, give it a look. I think the whole series is there on YouTube in HD, and they're definitely worth your time. Oh. Saving Private Ryan. The Green Mile. I don't want to dig any further into these because they are getting really quite grimy and grubby. I will tell you what we've got in here. We've got some Friends, we've got some Miscongeniality. Oh, that's filthy. ER, by popular demand. To have 3 episodes from the first 3 seasons. The best of, if you like, by popular demand. I'm not sure when we all became so precious about the quality of our movies. I mean, look what I used to do. It's 3 movies on there. A Man Apart, Identity, Taking Lives, and The Butterfly Effect. There's 4 movies on there. We have SWAT, Pirates of the Caribbean, and City by the Sea. And I've got a whole bunch of others like that. These are all recorded from TV. And not only recorded from TV, but recorded on these tapes in slow play, which would have stretched the quality even thinner. But it's allowed me to put more movies on one single tape. I wasn't fussy about quality at this time. For me, it was more about having the movie, having it on tap, which is something that we now take for granted. If it isn't streaming, it's available somewhere. It's easy to get hold of. Back then, it was a little bit more difficult. And as much as I've enjoyed looking through these VHS and having those memories come flooding back, there's really no place for them in my collection anymore. Space is a premium as it is, and really, these things, they'd be nothing more than ornamental because I have no way and no intention to actually play these things. I just don't want to hold on to the past in this way. As nice as it is to revisit these things, they're just items that I don't really need any longer. So what do I do with a big box of VHS? Well, regardless what the item is, I really don't like sending things off to landfill. But luckily enough, I actually have a store / museum type place which is close to me called the 80s Video Store. They love all the retro stuff. I think some of these VHS they could actually make use of. I'm going to take this big box over to the 80s Video Store where I know they'd be appreciated and cared for. And along with my VHS discovery, I found a box of my old books. Oh, now, a couple of these books I thought had been lost forever. The books went missing when I moved house. I'd been hunting high and low for them. This discovery made me very happy. Let's have a look. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Got Bringing Down the House. This is one that I've been wanting to revisit on the run. If you're a fan of Goodfellas, this book is a must read. It's by Henry Hill's kids, Greg and Gina Hill, and it's their story of how they saw their dad and the things that happened when they were kids. It gives their individual perspectives. It's really quite an interesting read, and it's one I definitely want to revisit. If you haven't read it and you're a fan of Goodfellas, it's worth a read. Great book, great book. Let the right one in. Chopper. That might be an interesting revisit with the recent release of the movie By Second Sight. Yeah. With Tim Burton. Now these, a couple that I really missed. Got a Kevin Smith book, Silent Bob Speaks, and My Boring Ass Life. I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan, so having these back, really happy about that. I'm actually considering adding books in with my movie collection, particularly the Kevin Smith ones, and also the Robert Rodriguez one. I'm a big collector of certain directors. These books are from 2 of my favourites. I really think these books deserve to be part of the collection somehow. This one in particular, I've taken over the years a lot of inspiration from what Robert Rodriguez did to achieve what he has. It's a great read. Jarhead, the book. It's quite an interesting companion piece to the movie as well. And another interesting behind the scenes look at movies and movie making. There and Back Again by Sean Austin. I've got a couple of Jeffrey Deaver novels which I used to really enjoy reading, and I've got quite a collection of his books through in the other room. I've found a lot of joy going through these boxes and just finding things again. I'm sure they'd all be nice to keep hold of, but I just can't help but think, if these things were all a permanent part of my collection, would I even care as much if they were there every day? Is part of the enjoyment of the nostalgia down to the rediscovering rather than the actual owning, down to not having had them or have cited them for many, many years? If they were a constant part of your collection, would you feel the same way when you dug them back out again? Would you keep this sort of thing on display and part of your collection? Or would you just let them go? and possibly have that joy of rediscovery and all of the memories that they'd evoke somewhere down the line? Let me know in the comments. Let's discuss.